I'm Kell, the host of Aligned, and I'm so excited you're here. Let me ask you this. Are you ready to stop following someone else's strategy and start building a business that aligns with your vision? As a 2-4 cycle generator and business coach, I know the power of aligning your actions with your unique design. On this podcast, we'll dive into business strategies, human design, and have conversations with awesome women who are doing business their own way. I'm here to show you how to build a business that gives you the life you truly desire. Let's get started and have some fun. Welcome to what is the second episode of Aligned with Kell Quarrell for 2025. It is the 12th of February, and I'm going to be honest, I did think that maybe I would have been in here a little sooner. However, I am honouring my decision to only record podcast episodes when I feel called to do so. And today's episode is actually just going to be a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a reflection, and also giving you some behind the scenes insight to how my year has started. And if we wind the clock back to the end of 2024, we left as a family to go to Bali on the 6th of December. We spent 2 weeks in Bali, which was absolutely incredible. From Bali, we flew to Perth for a week to spend Christmas with my sister and her family. We landed back in the Gold Coast on the 27th of December, and that afternoon our best friends and their family arrived here at home, which was so much fun. In the time that they were here, we had the absolute honour of doing a hot air balloon, which was incredible. Probably share a story on that another time. And they left on the 31st of December on New Year's Eve. And then my nephew and his girlfriend arrived 2 days later. So we were home from Perth for 10 days before setting off to go to Victoria. And of those 10 days, we had 2 days where we didn't have visitors in our home. And, you know, as we know, it is called the crazy festive season for that reason. Now, we went to Victoria for a week as a family. My husband and I had a wedding down there, and the amount of kilometres that we travelled in Victoria was really quite insane. However, being that we are from Victoria originally, we always do our best to visit and see as many of our family and friends as possible. And I also had an additional quick trip up to Yarrawonga to do a She Can monthly session with Shez. We went to Warrnambool for the wedding. It was a whole thing. And then we flew back to the Gold Coast on the 14th of January. And the very next week, Shez arrived here for 4 days. We embarked on our full She Can rebrand. We had an incredible photo shoot with Steffa from Brisbane. We're definitely going to talk more about that. And that was led by the creative brief that my human design mentor, Kirsten Morrison, did. And then Shez left on the Saturday, and the next week I officially hit the wall. It's really interesting when I look back now, but I was as flat as a tack. And interestingly, on the Thursday of that week, I was flying back down to Victoria to run an event with Shez for She Can. But the days leading up to leaving, I was nowhere. I was incredibly grumpy, probably not fun. Well, not probably, absolutely without question, not a fun person to be around. I was short, I was sharp, I was low energy. And what I know is that I had completely overdone my fourth line, my extrovert, my community, my socialization part of my human design. And my second line, which is the hermit, just wanted to hermit. I learnt a lot from how much I had packed into what was under 2 months and how I can ensure that I don't do that moving forward. Now, all is good. What I know I needed was a couple of days, not only in my own energy, but in my own space to do the things that I wanted to do. And interestingly, the things that often will really fill my cup is actually being able to dive into my work that I love, both the work that I do as Kell Quarrell, my human design readings, my one-on-one business coaching, but also the work that I get to do with She Can. And so I knew heading to Victoria on my own, being able to be in those really creative environments, which is airports, and be in that energy of being able to serve other women, I knew would really be able to recharge the tanks. But before stepping back into that fourth line energy of community and connection and socialization, I needed, or my second line hermit really needed a couple of days at home. And I guess what I've learned is I needed that way before I had the space to do that, because everyone paid the price of me completely overdoing it in those 2 months because I was just not a nice person. And that's not really that common for me. And I'm being honest here. I'm generally fairly chilled, fairly relaxed. I do juggle a lot. That generally doesn't kind of have too much of an impact on me. I have really good rituals and habits put in place that support me. But that week prior to leaving for the She Can event was, and it wasn't even a week. When I think about it, it was probably 4 days. I knew that I was like in the pit and I could not get myself out of it fast enough. And I think I surrendered to the fact that I was at that level and I was in the bottom of the pit. I was mindful that I didn't want to set up a tent and get my camp chair out and light a fire and stay there for too long. But I was also honoring that this is exactly how I was feeling. I was absolutely burnt out. And the lesson that I want to share with you is having the awareness of my human design, of all energy type, my strategy, my authority, but also my profile lines, allowed me to understand what was actually happening. And I was sharing with a friend at the gym, and I said, if I didn't have the awareness of how it is that I operate best and what it is that I really need, I would have actually questioned if something was wrong with me, if I was coming down with something, if I certainly also want to point out that I was hormonal that week as well. And being that I am 47 in April, I'm sure that there is a lot of hormonal changes going on. And I don't know, and I will monitor if that's going to play a part each and every month moving forward. But I really could have thought, oh my God, like what is going on? Whereas having this knowledge about my human design and truly understanding how I best operate and what it is that I need, and just knowing that my second line just needed to hermit. I had completely overdone the fourth line. And as a 2-4 sacral generator, I know that I am the introverted extrovert. And I had just gone full extrovert for close to 2 months. And I just needed to hermit. And so, a couple of days at home, even though hubby was home, the girls were home for school holidays, I just wanted to be in front of my computer, plugging away in my own space, doing the things that I love, doing the things that come easy to me, and getting back connected to my business and all of the exciting, incredible things that I get to do in that. So that's a little unpack on that. The other thing that I also wanted to talk about is I'm leaning so much more into human design. And I know I've been saying that for about a year now, but 2025 I know is going to see me lean more and more into human design. I've created some brand new offerings around human design. I offer an aligned blueprint reading, which is a foundational reading for someone that is relatively new, but it's a comprehensive hour online session with me. You get a copy of the recording, a downloadable guide. It's a good deep dive. But I'm also now offering a 20-minute pre-recorded mini human design reading for women that perhaps, one, don't have the time to invest in that full online 1 hour session, or don't have the finances at that point in time to do that. And so the mini human design reading is still personalized, but it's more of a snapshot, and it is perfect for that individual that is brand new to human design. And I've also finally launched my soul aligned business strategy. And that is my standalone 2 hour business strategy session where it's through the lens of human design. And that really puts the women that I work with in the driver's seat for that session. They are the ones that provide me with the information based on what they want to get out of that session. And it's very much for women that are in business, that are maybe a little bit stuck on what their next steps are. Maybe they want to go to the next level, but they're not sure on how to do that. So it is very strategy based, which is one of my skill sets, and I would say part of my genius. It could be launching something new. It could be systemizing and automating their back end of their business. It might be improving their client journey, which is something that I'm super passionate and very good at. And so that is also through the lens of human design. So if someone really wants to focus on their incarnation cross, which is the energetics of their purpose, and ensuring that that is aligned with what it is they're doing in their business. If they really want to focus on their conscious Mercury, which is, how and what they are here to say, we can absolutely tailor that soul aligned business strategy session to whatever it is that they're wanting to achieve. So I'm really excited about that. And something that I'm super passionate about is that when I share human design, it always comes from an empowered point of view. I share with my clients, and this is something that my human design mentor has taught me, is that human design is an incredible, valuable tool. It's a blueprint, it's a roadmap, but it's also an experiment that you get to use. And it is always something that should be empowering. So if it is that you're looking at your human design and feel like there's a lot of shoulds and can'ts attached, I would suggest that the information has been perceived incorrectly. And I always want to empower the women that I work with to utilize their human design for the positive result and outcome. And I also share how I experiment with my own human design. So what is true and correct for me as a 2-4 sacral generator may not necessarily be true and correct for someone that has a very similar chart or has the same profile lines or has the same authority. I share from what is my experience. And I just shared on my Instagram stories this morning, I wanted to commit to learn how to skateboard this year. Very random, very left of field. As I said before, 47 in April, and I'm taking up skateboarding. It is not something that I did as a child or a teenager. I roller skated, but I did not skateboard. And this is something that I am committed to doing. It is also part of my joy and my fun. But as I shared on my Instagram stories this morning, I'm catching myself and I'm learning that a lot of what I do and a lot of how I utilize my energy as a generator is tied to achievement, outcome, productivity, and efficiency. Not very often do I do things purely for the enjoyment of them. Now, I might enjoy those things that do lead me to outcome, achievement, productivity, but often the energy behind it is always about being better, improving, and having it attached to a sense of I did something that can be a sense of achievement. Even when I go to the gym, I'm always tracking, I'm always trying to be better. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. What I'm learning and what I'm experimenting with my own human design is being able to step into that energy of don't forget to enjoy it while you're doing it. And that came to me this morning on the skateboard. I had a moment where I'm like, oh, I'm frustrated that I'm not great at this. And I've probably done it 6 times. And I reminded myself that I'm up. I'm scooting around a netball court. I haven't fallen off yet. I'm sure it's coming. Enjoy the freedom of being down in this open space on my own and being able to skateboard. And that was a real moment of, yes, as a generator, and I'm sharing from my experience, I can tie so much of what I do to that sense of achievement. And I've often in the past even thought, well, what's the point if there isn't an outcome attached? And so this morning I just took stock of how awesome it is that, I did school drop off. I headed there. No one else was there. I could skate around for 15, 20 minutes. And yes, get better, but just enjoy the moments of being on the skateboard. So yeah, that was a really great learning for me. And as I always share with the beautiful women that I get to do human design readings for, is that your human design is an experiment. And the more that you understand and the more that you can lean into those foundational properties of human design, understanding your energy type, really leaning into your strategy, making decisions through your authority, and kind of really understanding what those profile lines mean for you and experimenting within all of that, then the self-awareness and the things that you learn, I just feel like is infinite. And I'm constantly learning, constantly experimenting, and my goal is to share more of that from my perspective to hopefully encourage you to go on a journey of your own self-exploration. And if it is that you want to uncover or learn or tap into more of your human design, then I would be absolutely honored to do your reading, whether or not it's a mini reading, whether it's a foundational reading, or whether or not it is a soul-aligned business strategy through the lens of human design. If you're looking for something different within human design, I would love you to reach out. But episode 2 for 2025, that is it. I really just wanted to share a bit of I guess it's kind of like a Dear Diary moment, give you a little update of what I've been doing, and it's been a lot. When people ask, it's interesting. People say, oh, what have you been up to? And often my immediate response is, oh, not much. I cannot give that answer at the moment. When people say, oh, what have you been up to? I just say a lot. I have been doing a lot, and it's all wonderful. I feel completely blessed, and I'm extremely grateful for the opportunities that I've had. I just have learnt a lot in that process. So here's to a few months of, there's still trips, there's still exciting things happening. I've got an an event with She Can next month down in Victoria, which is March. We have a brand new one-day event launching on the 12th of April down in Victoria as well. And then we do go to Bali in May, and we're running 2 events back to back. So I love travel. I feel absolutely alive when I get to do the things that I do. And I just know in between there, it's going to be important for me to be in routine, to be honoring my strategy, to be making decisions through my authority, which is my sacral, going to the gym, eating good food, continuing having fun on the skateboard, so that I can be at my best when it is that I am really stepping into that fourth line of community and service and socializing. So I hope that you've got value from today's episode. Who knows when I'll be back? It could be next week. It could be 2 weeks. I just don't know, but just trust that when I have something to share, I will be here. And until then, have a beautiful day. And as I said, if you want to learn more about your human design, feel free to reach out. That wraps up another episode of Aligned. I'm so grateful you've taken time out of your day to tune in. If today's episode sparked something in you, I'd love it if you would share it with someone else that could also benefit. And if you feel called, I would love it if you would leave a review. A review is like an icy cold glass of Prosecco. Always welcomed, always appreciated. And if we're not yet connected on socials, head over to @Kell Quarrell on Instagram and say hello. I love nothing more than connecting with awesome women in business. Until next time, keep tapping into your design, taking bold, aligned action, and doing business your way.